This is a quick video. I've just been reclaiming some of these cells from laptop batteries. They're 18650 cells, and they come in these kind of packs from laptops. There's normally about 6 cells in here, and they're 10.8 volts. So each cell is around about between 3.6 and 4.2 volts when they're fully charged. They're called 18650 because they're 18 millimeters in diameter and 65 millimeters long, plus or minus, and the 0 is because they're round in profile. So a lot of electric cars actually use versions of these cells. Some use, I think they're 2170s, so they're slightly bigger, but a lot of the testers use 18650s, but obviously lots of them, and in series and parallel to give you the voltage and the amperage per hour. So one of these on its own, they'll give between about 1.8 and some of the heavier duty ones 3.5 amp per hour. So lithium batteries are used in e-bikes and e-scooters as well. So they're quite a nice little battery. They're also used in power drills. These new lithium power drills, they're not lithium poly, they're lithium ion. So they're 18650 cells in the side here, and you can actually see on that base of that there's 5 cells, so that gives you the voltage. So this is 18 volt. So you can have I don't know, depending on what voltage you want to get, you might want to get 12, 24, 36 for an electric bike or something like that. I've got some older cordless drills that used nickel metal hydride batteries, and I'm in the process of making some packs for those as well. They're old Bosch pattern drills, and they use this kind of pack, but I'm not really sure. The problem is, I mean, you can 3D print something. I'm trying to kind of come up with an elegant solution where I can use one adapter just to sort of snug the battery in onto that sort of neatly and protect it. So I haven't really kind of worked out how I'm going to do that, but in the meantime I've been using these on the allotment as a kind of power source, and have one on charge, one off charge, and I'm also using these in a solar panel setup as well, so they kept up to voltage, and then I circulate the other batteries to give me a fully charged one whilst the other one's charging still. I've got a couple of examples of different things going on. This is a solar charge controller. It's only a cheap one. A lot of these are designed for lead acid. The charging cycle isn't ideal for lithium ion, but if you're using reclaimed batteries, and especially if you're cycling one on and off and then using that, it's not going to be doing a kind of trickle charge on it to sort of overvolt those. I think it tops out around about 4.2, so it's not really an issue. But there are different versions of those. Some are cheaper, some are more expensive. Obviously you get really what you pay for. This is an old I had a mains voltage halogen work light. I didn't like it. The halogen gets so hot, and as soon as you knock it, it breaks the bulb. So I've changed this over to a 12 volt LED bulb. And what I've got on here, I thought it might be quite nice to have. I'm sort of working on this, but I wanted to have something, ideally something I can charge up from a car, or just power it off on a lead. So I've got a reasonably long lead, so I thought I could just mount that onto the car just when I'm temporarily sort of loading and stuff on the allotment at night. So you can see it's nice and bright, and that's just running off 12 volt laptop batteries. So they're fairly low power, but if you don't want something quite so bright, you could even use a halogen torch bulb, and then you could, well, not halogen, an LED, just a cub LED, give a nice light, and they'll run off around about 4 volts as well. So you can run one off a 18650 battery, or you could just put a few in series or parallel to whatever voltage and what ampere hour you want to make up. So these are some of the batteries I've reclaimed, and I've got a Lito Carla battery charger, and it does a sort of charge cycle. So it charges them up, runs them down, and then recharges them again. So it gives you a kind of reading about how many milliamps per hour, and these are between about 2.5 and about 1.8 milliamp per hour. But what's quite nice, I just use a bit of masking tape, and I note down that current on there, how many amps per hour they can give, and then I can match those into sort of batteries by fixing the cells together. I don't actually have a spot welder, but what is quite nice about these is I'm using these, I think they're Rusand or something. I'll post a link in the description. But they're a bit like Lego. They sort of clip together with a little dovetail, goes in a slot. You can just see the light isn't the best in here, but you just got these little dovetails on the end. They snatch together. You press those really firmly onto the battery, and then you tighten these little nickel strips on the ends with little M3 bolts. I've got some terminals on there as well for taking off the battery management board on there for intelligent charging the batteries. So these are good, and what is quite nice, because the three of those gives you 12 volts, and then you double them up, so that's around about 4 amp per hour, which is good for a cordless drill or something like that. The only thing is there's no sort of, in terms of battery protection, what I'm going to do is install a little LED voltmeter onto the battery case itself, so you can just see a bit like what you've got on these batteries. So it just tells you if it's run below a certain voltage, and so you just want to keep an eye on that. And I'm not sure what the cut-off point for the lithium ion is, but I'll just make sure. I haven't got any kind of complicated circuitry in to protect the batteries, but they're free, and they're quite a nice size. So that's the bottom of a Bosch battery that I've just cut off with a sort of Dremel type tool, and sort of sanded it down so it's flat. I'm going to mount that onto the battery pack, but ideally I want the batteries to come off, use that as an adapter, and then that can plug into the drill. Likewise, what I've got here, this is a modern pattern Bosch battery that's got an off-the-shelf adapter, so that can just run through an old Bosch drill. These are slightly different, but they will work. I've got a kind of something's missing from one that isn't on the other, so I've got to work out what the difference is and just grind that bit off, so they will fit in each drill. I think the 14.4 volt ones had a little nub on here, and on the 12 volt ones it didn't have it, but obviously that is a different pattern from there, and it's got this kind of cutout. So I'll just play around with that, see what works best. I could make a pattern for 3D printing something, but it's quite time consuming. If you can just use something you've already got, then it saves a lot of 3D printing time and materials as well. And you can just maybe just fabricate something or laser cut something, so you can just mount that onto it and then maybe just 3D print the other part. So it makes it a lot much easier. Another product I've come about, which I quite like the look of, just got a little bits and pieces I've got going here. I'm making a little power bank. What I wanted to do is have a little power bank that fits in one of my little reclaimed leather cases, and I was going to modify this so it's a frame bag for a bike. I was going to put some, well, this is just an example, but it's going to be bigger. Put some slots through here, so you've got a slot on each side, slot on each side there, and slots on the ends, and then I'll put some little leather straps with brass little buckles on. And that'll go around the top tube, and then that'll go around the seat post. And then I might just, I don't really want a buckle on it, I might get a little brass sort of button with a little hole in there. This one is just a knot. I kind of like the simplicity of that though. And then you just lift it off. But I wanted to have the battery maybe for a headlight or a couple of dual headlights or something like that. So that snugs down in the frame bag. And then you can have all your charging leads tucked away inside that, so it's quite neat. And then all you need is a Cub LED 12 volt on the handlebar. I've got an old I think it's powered by nickel metal hydride batteries, and I think it's a Hope, can't remember what the model is, Hope 1 or something like that. And I might just modify the battery cover so I can get a couple of waterproof automotive connectors. I already want a connector that I can kind of screw down so it's not going to get damp in it, but then I quite like, I don't know really, I want to make this neat so you can just snug the battery out, or alternatively I'll just have the charge lead so you can charge off USB. This one is the control, or the board I've got on there is, I think that was just that's a little solar charge controller, so that you can charge it off USB or solar, which is quite nice. But I wanted to get one and just charge off USB. And then I've got another little board just that gives you the sort of ups the voltage from 4.2 to 5.5 or whatever it is, so you can charge up mobile phones and things from the same thing. So I think that'd be quite nice. So when you can cycle to work, pop the battery out, put it on charge your phone up from it or whatever, and then you've got a good powerful battery for a headlight to get you back home again. Ideally, well, what I'm working towards is making an electric bike, and I've got these different connectors and things, and I've just been playing around with those. These are quite heavy duty, but for smaller things like little power banks and stuff, these are a bit like the connectors you get in a little AA battery case. They're quite good, and what I was going to do is CNC machine a bit of Delrin plate and then fix them in, and then I can make my own little packs up like that, but they won't have all these kind of bolts and bits on the end, so it'll make it a little bit more compact. And because you can route out that yourself, you can maybe make 3 into like a little cylinder or a flat battery or a compact battery, so it makes it quite sort of flexible. And then I'll heat shrink those and cap some tape and then heat shrink, so that'd be quite good. So yeah, nice little power bank in a little leather frame bag for the bike. For the headlights would be good. Ideally, like a switch kit type setup on a bar handlebar bag frame as well would be quite good. I like the recycled leather. I think it looks really neat. And yeah, so that's a couple of things with the batteries. There's so much you can do with batteries in terms of powering torches, powering power tools and things. I almost want to have, a bit like the old-fashioned days when the first cordless drills came out, they had a cord, but they still ran off a battery pack. So it might be quite nice to have a really heavy-duty 4 ampere-hour battery that you can just sort of plug into stuff. This is my little allotment sketchbook, but I've got different ideas in here. But I really like this company. It's Traveller's Company. I think it's Midori or Traveller's Notebook. But that's just leather, and it's really simple. And what I quite like, it's just got, you could just have a knot there, so it's just tied through. They've used a little pewter fixing. I'm not sure how that works. I think it's just knotted and sort of wrapped around, and then it's got a knot the other end, and then that just holds the notebook in, so it's like a refill. And then they've got a little elastic strip around there, just tied in with a knot. So it's super elegant, but really nice. And I think with some nice quality reclaimed leather, just be nice to make a few of those and have them for different like projects. So like when you're electric bikes or whatever, or just different kind of where I'm working on things at work as well. And just don't want to mix it all up with sort of allotment ideas. I kind of like this, keeping this all so it's got a bit of flow to it. But anyhow, that's some nice reclaimed materials and reuse of materials. This was a little, I think it's like a marine, it's got a marine, like a car cigarette lighter socket. It's got a bayonet fitting on it, so it's a little bit more, not really heavy duty, but a bit more positive than the kind of car ones. And it's got a little cover as well. Got an on-off switch as well. I've got USB sockets for charging up phones as well, so that's quite good. And then I've got the universal sort of car cigar lighter type 12 volt DC socket as well. I was going to mount that. I wanted to make it look quite fancy, so I was going to kind of make a little box on the side of the allotment shed, have that in a bit of reclaimed hardwood, and then have a little shelf so your phone can sit in there, because I can charge it up by solar when you're just sort of working on the allotment, so you've always got a bit of charge in it. If you want to do a film or something, or just document something you're working on, it's always a pain when the phone runs out of battery, so that'd be nice because it'll give you a nice bit of charge. So these are nice little packs. They're a good size, they're not heavy, so it's something quite good to work with. I quite like having a few of those. I like having one on charge and then one you can kind of use on a power drill or whatever, and then the other one's charging up. So I'm working on a few of those. I've got some of the old batteries that I've just sort of taken the innards out and recycled the old cells from those. They're awful. They're all right when they're new, but they just don't last. Don't keep a charge. But these are good because they're reclaimed. So I've got quite a few of these, and it's just nice to use them as long as you can. If you do get a defective cell, the nice thing about these is you can dismantle them, and then you can just you test out each individual cell and then just replace the one that's at fault with a battery of ideally of the same manufacturer and the same kind of number, but you want to get that ampere hour so they're all sort of matched. So yeah, this is just another little project using some reclaimed leather table mats. I just use that to keep some nice fountain pens in, and some really nice pencils I've got. So it's just something good to keep on you, to carry around with you. But that's about all for now. So I'll put these charge cycle for these batteries, and then I'll make a note of the current, and then I'll make up some more packs. And these are more of those battery terminals.